Welcome to the BOS tutorials. This video is about how to make sales using the BOS software. Currently, we are on the home page and we have a number of icons displayed here. We are going to use the first icon, that is the sales point icon, for our sales. So we open it by just a single click. Okay, so this is the point of sales interface. By default, you will see the last invoice generated. Okay, so you can see we have a number of invoices here, and the last one is the invoice number 934, and that is what we are seeing. When you open and it's blank, it means no invoice has been generated for the day. Now, there are two ways you can use this invoice. You can decide to record every sales on just a single invoice. You can decide to record a number of items on an invoice, save, and then generate another one. But in case you want to print out a receipt for every customer, that requires that you generate a separate invoice for every customer. So you'll try all those methods. And for you to record an item on the invoice, we have a number of methods, about 4 of them. We are going to go through all of them. So the first one is by using the search area. So let's generate our first invoice and see what happens. We generate our invoice using this button. So when you click on it, it assigns a new ID to the invoice and then moves the cursor straight to the search area where you can just go ahead and search for the item you are looking for. Okay, so when you select that item, you see that the total quantity you have in stock will be displayed here, and then the price of the item will be here, that is 35 cedis. And this is the amount. So the amount depends on the quantity that you put here. So by default, the system insert to 1. When you put 2 here, it means you are selling 2 of this item to the customer, and you are going to see the price multiplied by the quantity as amount here. So one good thing about this method is that it gives you the chance to preview these values before you go ahead and drop the item on the invoice. And then just after that, the cursor moves back to the search field again, so you can pick another item. So we have our next item dropped. So you can drop as many items as you want. So let's say we are generating this invoice for a specific customer and we want to print a receipt. In that case, we have to save the invoice. Until you have saved the invoice, the quantities you have put here will not be deducted from your stock. So let's go ahead and save. And then also, in case you want to keep or save the name of the customer on the printout or in the system and track it later, you can put the name of the customer here, and the system automatically saves it in memory. The next time you come, it will be there. You have the payment type here. So by default, it is cash, but they have a number of options here that you can pick from. Now, the moment you save the invoice, it activates the printout button. We have 2 of them. The first one, the green one, would print the invoice through a default printer straight away. And then the second one gives you the chance to preview the printouts. And then also, in case you want to use a different printer other than the default printer, you use this custom print. When you click on it, it opens this interface for you where you can pick from the printers available, or in case you want to save as PDF too, you can just pick the PDF option and click OK. Alright, so this is the first method by using the search area. The second method is for you to enter your item directly on the invoice. But now this invoice is locked by default. So when you check the bottom here, this is the locker. It's saying it's locked. In case you want to record directly on the invoice, you need to unlock. But as it is now, my invoice is locked, so I cannot type anything on the invoice direct. Even though the list will come, I can't choose anything. So let's try that using our next invoice. Let's go ahead and generate another invoice. Okay, so this time you would have to unlock this invoice and then type directly on the invoice. Sure. Okay. So with this option too, you can see the price here. You can see the quantity you have in stock. So the moment you pick it, okay, so one good thing about BOS software is to keep track of expiry date and then the quantities you have in stock. So as you sell, it prompts you. So this is just a prompt message telling us we have 0 days near expiry. So when you click OK, it keeps the item on the invoice for you. So you can decide to change the quantity. You can't change the price. The prices are fixed in the system. So when you enter the quantity, it multiplies by the price and then it gives you the amount that the customer is supposed to pay. So I can go to the next line and then do a search of the next item and then pick. Okay. So this is the method number 2. Can go ahead and save our second invoice, and the moment you save it, the invoice is locked again. Now you cannot you cannot unlock an invoice that has been generated by a different user other than the user that is logged in currently. And then also, once an invoice is printed out, you cannot unlock. So that is one thing about the BOS invoice. Now let's go to the third method where we use the available list. So this button opens the list of items you have in stock. If you don't have the item in stock, it will not display here. So you can move it just around the interface anywhere we want and then pick the item you want. We have a search field here. You can search for the item you are looking for. So when you want to drop this item on the invoice, you just have to double click. You can change the quantity and add to invoice. So you can see our item drop on the invoice. Okay. So this is method number 3. You can close it anytime you want. Let's save this invoice and then generate another invoice. So we have a blank invoice again. For the fourth method, we use a category list. That's also another powerful list because it categorizes all the items you have in your stock. So let's say a customer want to know the, let's say, inhalers that we have. So currently we have the inhaler selected and the brands are here alongside with the unit prices and the quantities you have in stock. So if the customer makes a choice, you just have to double click and save on the invoice. So you have a prompt message here too. Let's say the customer wants to buy an ointment. I pick an ointment. You have several of them here. So you can just pick any of them by double clicking and dropping it on the invoice. Let's say the customer wants to buy a bandage. So these are the bandages we have. We just have to double click and drop on the invoice. So this is our final method for recording items on an invoice. Thank you very much. I hope you have enjoyed this video.